Yo, what's good, everybody? And thank you for tuning in to another Tyler Perry's Sistas review. If this is your first time coming to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning family member, then you already know what it is and what it always will be. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. Tell somebody to tell somebody if you choose to. But if not, just sit back, relax while we get into this, messy thing. Now, if you look at the thumbnail, we are here to talk about this case of amnesia with Gary Demon Borders. Is it real or is it not? And I am on the side of it's real. I believe that Gary does in fact have amnesia. Now, I just want to give a shout out to my sis, Erica Vane, because she's on the other side of the fence and she believes that Gary is faking. And shout out to all y'all who came on my in my DMs telling me that Erica proved her point. Now, Allie, it's time for you to come out and prove your case, sis. Why do you believe that Gary has amnesia? All right. There are several reasons why I believe that Gary has amnesia. One of the reasons is Gary has done so many things within the Sistas universe. To me, there is absolutely nothing more evil that he can do. Gary has been responsible for ending a life, which was his child. He has brought so much grief, chaos, confusion, violence, just demonic activity from a demon. Okay, he has done all of those things. To me, it's nothing more that could be done with the character of Gary. Embezzlement, stealing from people. You know, his violent attacks have gone as far back as high school. He went to prom with someone and the girl never showed back up again. Okay, that's how diabolical this particular character is. Now, also, if anyone knows anything about seizures, you know that someone having a case of amnesia is not too far-fetched. Now, I'm going to give y'all a personal story right now. And before anybody want to judge me, I was young, okay? I was immature. I didn't know, but now I know. So, my ex-boyfriend was someone who suffered from seizures. And I was fully aware of his medical history before he and I, were committed to one another. So the first time that he actually stayed the night with me, he was like, I'm just letting you know that I might have a seizure. And I'm like, you're going to be all right. Like, he's not going to have a seizure. Baby, this brother had a seizure on me, scared the absolute hell out your girl, okay? And so he would have the seizures that are called clonic seizures. Are when your muscles tense up, there's like a rhythmic jerking, shaking, all of that. Very scary if you ever experienced it. So he would have those not every time we were together, but he definitely had them quite often. And so this particular story that I'm about to say was the first time that I was introduced to what is called an absent seizure. And an absent seizure is a brief loss of awareness, sometimes with staring or subtle movements. So sometimes this particular seizure is hard to notice because you can literally be talking to a person. They could be looking at you dead in your face, look as if they are receiving what you're saying. And mentally in their mind, they are someplace else. They're not even there with you. And if you're not aware of what to look for, you wouldn't even know. So we were getting ready to go to the movies and we're going back and forth, from the bedroom to the restroom. He didn't want to see this movie anyway, but, he was going because, he loved me. So we're getting ready. And so he literally has on a t-shirt, boxers, and he's at the ironing board ironing his jeans. I go in the bathroom, not even a good 45 seconds. I come back out. He has this confused look on his face. And then he slowly sits on the bed. So much so that it did, cause me to be a little concerned. So I asked a question. I was like, babe, are you okay? And he was like, nah, I just had a seizure. So mind you, like I said, he had only had the clonic seizures. So I'm like, when? He ain't on the ground. You ain't shake. I ain't hear no noises. You had a seizure when? So automatically I have an attitude because you're lying. Okay, that was the first thought. And I said, you had a seizure when I just went to the bathroom. I went in there a good 45 seconds. Like, when did this happen? And he was like, just now. So, like I said, had an attitude. And I said, you know what? I said, If you didn't want to go to the movies with me, that's all you had to say. You didn't have to make up no damn lie about having a seizure. Like, that's crazy. Like, why would you do that? And he gave me this look like, and I could tell he wasn't really himself, not even speaking in his pattern, like the pattern he would normally speak in. And so his response to me was, why would I lie about having a seizure? And so I don't know, when he said that, something like clicked in my mind. I'm like, this brother is not lying. And so he looked at the ironing board, confused as hell. And he said, I'm ironing clothes. Like, why am I ironing my clothes? And I was like, oh my God. I said, babe, we were getting ready to go to the movies. And so he said, well, what were we going to see? Like, we can still go. I said, no, we're not going to the movies. Like, it's okay. I was like, are you okay? And so he was like, yeah. And I began to ask him questions. Some things he was a little like fuzzy on. And at the time he had 2 kids. I said, do you know how many kids you have? And it took him a minute, but he was like, yeah. Follow-up question, do you know their names? Took him a minute, but he gave me their names. He did not remember about 3 hours of our day. He didn't remember about us deciding to go to the movies. He remembered absolutely nothing. So that's one of the things about, another reason why I believe that Gary is not faking, because when you have, like I said, it affects everybody differently. But when you have seizures, there are moments of time that you do not remember. And so I believe that Gary had all uses of his faculties before whomever put fentanyl in his IV. We know when that happened, it caused him to have a seizure, which I believe brought on this temporary case of amnesia. Also, there are just certain things I don't believe that the real Gary, if he was in his right mind, would do. The fact that he was sedated, the fact that he actually allowed Andy to talk him to go back into the hospital and allow Hudson to take him, even though he, does not remember Hudson. Now, don't get me wrong. I think that there are adequate reasons why people should believe that Gary is faking, because after all, it's Gary. Okay? It's Gary. Now, being that I was a criminal justice major and I do have a great grasp of the law, not every state, because every state is different, but I have an overall grasp of the law. Gary claiming to have amnesia does not affect any crime that will be brought up against him. It is not an accurate defense mechanism. Even if his defense attorney tried to use amnesia, it still has to be proven. They still have to have medical experts to come in and talk about the severity of his case. The only thing that can happen is he may not be competent to stand trial. Other than that, it doesn't matter that Gary has amnesia. Whatever he did in his past that was criminal, he can still be held responsible for those things that he did. So trying to get back into Andy's good graces will not help him. Trying to pretend that he has amnesia is not going to help him in the court of law. You can say that you are, foul insanity, whatever he wants to do is not going to help him. So if I could see a benefit in Gary using amnesia as a way to help him, then maybe I would be more so on the line of, yes, Gary is lying. Yes, Gary is pretending. However, being the fact that amnesia is not going to help him in any way, that's one of probably the main reason why I believe that Gary does in fact have amnesia, because him allowing this to continue to go on is not helping him in any way. It's not going to keep him out of prison. It's not going to have people to have pity on him other than Andy's ass. But other than that, that's why I believe that Gary really does have amnesia. Y'all can agree with me, disagree with me in the comments. I love it all. I love it all, and I would love to hear your perspective. Also, if you are someone, honestly, and I really didn't think about this until I thought about this particular storyline with Gary. I forgot all about my ex-boyfriend having seizures and the things that I endured with him due to that. Like, are you someone who have or have seizures? Do you have family members, your spouse, significant other, your partner? Have you ever had to experience someone having a seizure or yourself? And if so, did you ever have to deal with anyone that had a temporary case of amnesia? And how long did it take for them to regain all of their memory? Was it some parts of the memory they just did not retain? Like, what has been your experience with that, if you indeed have an experience with that? So that's where I'm coming from, y'all. That's where Allie is coming from. So I am so interested to see who is right. I'm more interested in seeing if Gary actually does have amnesia than who the hell tried to take him out, because at this point, I don't even care, because they missed the assignment. All the way missed the assignment. But I want to thank you guys for listening. And until next time, I will holler at y'all later. And y'all be safe out there.